Let me ask you something real. What if the battle ended, but your body didn't get the memo? What do you do when the chaos is gone, but peace still feels like a setup? Tonight, we're not talking about the trauma that happened. We're talking about what stayed behind. PTSD isn't just flashbacks, it's trying to rest with one eye open. It's smiling through tension you can't explain. It's finally being safe, but still hearing the war echo inside your chest. This episode is for the ones who got out, but still feel like they're under siege. The survivors who left the relationship, left the household, the chaos, but can't stop checking doors, can't stop bracing, can't stop preparing to run. We'll talk about what it means to live with a nervous system that doesn't trust peace. We'll name the triggers, unpack the false alarms, and talk about how to manage your responses without abandoning your truth. Your body isn't betraying you, it's remembering. And healing, it's not about pretending the war never happened. It's about teaching your body how to live again without flinching at every breeze. When the war is over, but your body stays ready. You're not in danger anymore, but your body doesn't know that. You've changed your location, maybe your relationships, your job, your name, your whole life. But your nervous system, it's still in the hallway of that house. Still bracing for the next slam, the next silence, the next shift in energy that tells you it's no longer safe to speak. Trauma doesn't leave just because the trauma ended. Your body learned what to expect. It learned how to shrink, to freeze, to flinch, not from weakness, because of intelligence. Hypervigilance became your heartbeat. Suspicion became your sacred sense. Preparedness became protection. And now, even in the calm, you scan for threats. In the quiet, you listen for collapse. In love, you prepare for war. That's not you being dramatic. That's your nervous system still stuck in survival. This is what PTSD feels like when the war is over. But the battlefield is internal. And healing doesn't mean pretending it's not real. It means acknowledging that your body has been your soldier this entire time. And now it deserves to learn how to come home. How triggers trick you into thinking you're still in danger. A trigger doesn't ask for permission. It shows up mid-conversation, in a voice that sounds too familiar, in a pause that feels like rejection, in a smell, a shadow, a sentence, and suddenly you're not here anymore. You're back there. Back in the moment your body first learned to armor itself. Your heart races, your chest tightens, you're on edge, and you don't know why. only that safety feels miles away. That's the thing about trauma. It doesn't wear a watch. It doesn't care that danger has passed. It only knows what it remembers. And when your body remembers something painful, it prepares, it protects, it activates survival, even if the threat is long gone. Triggers convince you that you're still in danger, even when you're not. And it doesn't matter how much work you've done. It's not about willpower, it's about wiring. That's why healing is less about controlling your reaction and more about learning to recognize this feeling is real, but it might not be rooted in the present. The moment you can name that, you create space. And in that space, you get to choose a response instead of being hijacked by a reaction. Your triggers don't make you broken. They make you human. But you don't have to live by their alarms anymore. You can rewire. You can unlearn. You can remember who you are without needing to flinch. Spiritual grounding when you're emotionally flooded. There comes a point in healing when the panic hits out of nowhere and you don't have time to journal, light a candle, or call a therapist. You're in it. Your hands are shaking, your chest is tight. The only thing louder than your thoughts is the sound of your heartbeat trying to outrun the fear. This is emotional flooding. The moment when your body thinks it's drowning in something invisible, and the only thing you can do is survive it. There are ways to ground your spirit without needing perfect peace. Ways to call yourself back when the room starts spinning and you forget who you are because the past is speaking louder than the present. Start with the breath. Not the deep one they always tell you to take. Just one small, honest inhale through your nose. Hold. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Then again. Anchor yourself to something physical. Your feet on the floor. The texture of your sleeve. A name you can say out loud. A phrase you can repeat with weight. I am here. I am safe enough. I am allowed to slow down. Let your body remember that you're not back there. Let your energy come home without force. You don't need to snap out of it. You need to compassionately interrupt the spiral. Grounding doesn't mean pretending you're fine. It's reminding your body that this moment is new, even if your fear feels familiar. And the more you practice this gently, the more your system starts to trust that it no longer has to be on constant watch. Not every stillness is a setup. Not every silence is an attack. Some moments really are safe. Different place, same war. When trauma echoes through new people. You thought it was over. You got out. You walked away. You did the work. You changed your number. You broke the soul tie. But then it happened again. Not in your relationship, in your workplace. And this time it wasn't a husband. It was a manager, a coworker, a system. Same energy, same gaslighting, same crowd of people watching and saying nothing. And your body recognized it before your mind could name it. Suddenly, you're right back in it. The same tight chest, the same insomnia, the same panic under fluorescent lights. And you ask yourself, how did I get here again? Why is this happening again? Am I the problem? But here's the truth. You weren't attracting it. You were exhausted from surviving it. You hadn't healed in isolation, but you returned to a world that still hadn't learned how to stop punishing people who speak truth. It wasn't your trauma that brought it back. It was a lack of accountability in people and systems that made it easy for the same pattern to play out. You were not being dramatic. You were being re-traumatized. And the longer you stayed silent, the more your body screamed. But now, you know. You see, you interrupt the cycle before it swallows you. And that's not regression. That's mastery. The difference between intuition and trauma response. This is where it gets tricky, because both feel like a warning. Both rise up fast. Both whisper something isn't right. But there's a difference. Intuition is clear. It's grounded. It gives you space to move. It nudges. It doesn't panic. Trauma response is urgent. It yells. It shakes. It demands. It catastrophizes. And when you've lived through chaos, the loudest voice always wins. But healing teaches you to pause long enough to ask the right questions. Is this my knowing or my fear? Am I seeing something or preparing for something that already happened? Because if it's trauma, your body is reacting to a pattern, not a present threat. And when it's intuition, you'll feel steady, even if it's uncomfortable. That's the difference. You don't have to silence your triggers to find clarity. You just have to give them company without giving them control. Giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. There's a tension that comes with slowing down. Not comfort, not peace, but tension. Because your nervous system has been in survival mode for years. Rest doesn't feel like relief. It feels like danger with softer lighting. Stillness becomes a trigger. Your body waits for something to go wrong. Your thoughts start racing. What if I'm falling behind? What if I forgot something? What if this moment of peace costs me later? And underneath all of that is something deeper. The fear that if you're not doing, you're not worthy. That if you stop moving, everything you built will fall apart. But those were survival roles, costumes stitched together to protect the version of you who had no support. You're not that version anymore. You don't have to earn your rest. You don't need to prove your right to be here. Rest is how your nervous system rebuilds. It's how your spirit learns to trust. It's how you show your body we are no longer in crisis. We are allowed to exhale. The body remembers faces, names, and energies, even if your mind wants to move on. You want to trust again. You want to open up, but your body is still in the hallway of that last betrayal. Sometimes it's not what a person says, it's how they say it. Sometimes it's not even what they do, it's how much they remind you of someone who hurt you. And the worst part, sometimes it's the name, the voice, the same initials, the same birthday month, the same pattern of silence before the storm. And you're thinking, you're crazy. You think you're being unfair. You think you're projecting. But your body, it's not reacting to them. It's reacting because it's familiar. It feels danger. You can be triggered by someone completely innocent and still honor what your body is trying to tell you. And that doesn't mean shut it all down. It means pause, observe, decide on your timing, and don't apologize for needing slowness while your heart learns new safety. You're not paranoid. You're learning what peace actually feels like in real time. A warrior in the garden, learning balance after the battle. You've been trained for war. You know how to read the room in 5 seconds. You know how to shift your tone to avoid conflict. You know how to shrink when it gets loud. You know how to fight when they cross the line. But now, you're in the garden. You're in a season of rebuilding, of softness, of stillness. And you can't seem to put your sword down. You want to relax, but your shoulders won't drop. You want to feel safe, but your guard is still up. And that is okay. You are not broken because peace feels uncomfortable. You just spent too many years learning to survive. And survival taught you armor before it taught you ease. So, you don't have to be all light now. You don't have to throw your shadows away to be worthy of rest. You can be both. The one who fought for her peace and the one who finally enjoys it. You are not either or, you are both and. You are a warrior and you are worthy of the garden. The battle was survival, but the war is reclaiming your life. Surviving trauma was the battle. It was chaotic, it was bloody, it was reactive, and it was necessary. But the war is quieter, it's deeper, it's longer. The war is rebuilding. The war is reclaiming your breath, your joy, your trust in yourself. It's showing up to joy even when your body still flinches and is tense and tight. It's trusting again, slowly, cautiously on your terms. It's giving yourself softness without justifying it. The war is walking into rooms without wondering if they like you. It's not abandoning yourself for approval. It's not apologizing for being too sensitive anymore. This is the sacred fight now. Choosing peace again and again and again, even when fear tells you to run. You survived the battle. Now it's time to win the war. PTSD made you a war strategist, and now your spirit sees everything. They thought you were broken, but the truth is, you've just seen too much to be deceived again. What they call hypervigilance is actually now pattern recognition. It's strategy. It's knowing the entire play before they even walk on the field. You didn't just survive, you adapted. So now you walk into every room, reading the energy, clocking the silence, tracking the shifts without lifting a finger. It's not paranoia, it's precision. That's spiritual intelligence backed by lived experience. Your trauma responses became tools. Your boundaries became shields. And your intuition became law. Not to mention your spiritual team. They've been sharpening your gifts in the dark. Your clairvoyance, your clairsentience, your empathic knowing. You didn't just escape. You evolved. Now you see the lie before it's told. You feel the shift before it shows. You know when to walk away before they even get to reach your peace. Manipulators count on your silence. Abusers count on your isolation. They assume that because you're alone, you're unprotected. But they don't know 1,000 may fall at your side. 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. Psalms 91:7. They see what you lost, but they can't see your ancestors circling, the angels interceding, the spiritual intelligence wrapped around your name. So let them misread your solitude. They'll never know what walks with you. You're not alone. You're not unarmed. You're not uncovered. You're just quiet now. And that's more dangerous than you ever were loud. All trauma responses are valid, and all warriors deserve the garden. There is one more truth we need to honor. Not all trauma looks the same. Some of us cry all the time. Some haven't cried in years. Some over-explain. Some go completely silent. Some lash out. Some shut down. That doesn't make your pain less sacred. It doesn't make your pain less valid. It doesn't make your healing less valid. It doesn't make your healing less sacred. You are allowed to tremble while you bloom. You are allowed to second guess what feels safe. You are allowed to rest, even if the war is still echoing in your bones. And if you're not thriving yet, you're still welcome here in the garden. You don't need to arrive whole. You just need to arrive honest. You are a warrior in the garden. Even if you're still sleeping with your armor on, even if the softness still feels suspicious, even if peace still feels earned, not given, you're here. And that's proof enough. Before we close, let's call your power back. The parts of you still stuck in survival. The parts that flinch in safety. The parts that learned to live in a war zone but never felt safe enough to unpack. Speak this aloud or in your spirit. I call my energy back. From every space where I was on high alert. From every person, pattern, and place that demanded my peace for their power. I call it back fully, freely, and now. I release the guilt for needing rest. I release the fear of what I've already survived. I return to myself unfragmented, unashamed, and whole. Let your breath slow. Let your shoulders drop. Let your soul take up room again. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are the guardian of your peace. You are allowed to reset as often as you need. This moment is yours. You didn't just walk through the fire. You learned to speak its language. You didn't just survive the war. You learned how to read energy, how to sense dishonesty, how to catch red flags everyone else ignored. That's not fear, that's mastery. You were not made to live in panic. You were not meant to mistake diligence for wisdom. You are allowed to be soft. You are allowed to be soft now without being unprepared. You are allowed to feel safe now without abandoning what you learned. You are allowed to rebuild a life that honors your spirit, not your scars. Let the world wonder how you stayed so quiet while growing so powerful. You are a warrior in the garden. Rest. Enjoy. This is Empowered Shadows. Thank you for listening.